Alright, so here's me just showing you my Supremes just so that you know that I have some credibility when I'm talking about this Nana stuff. There's my rank, and then here are my 3 Supremes. Now for the emblem, you want to use Magic Emblem. Max out the agility on the skill tree, which gives you movement speed, and observation, which gives you magic penetration. And finally, for the talent, for the emblem talent, you want to use magic worship. It's really the only talent that's worth it on Nana right now, because magic worship doesn't give you enough damage anymore. You don't get to proc it as often, and in pure rage, it's just, let's be honest, nobody uses that. And if you're gonna use support emblem, which you can, you would prefer to use agility, which gives you movement speed, and recovery, which gives you hybrid regain, which allows you to restore mana and health at the same time. And for the skills for the emblem, you can use either of the 3. All 3 are great, just depending on how you play the hero. Now for the battle spells, you can use either Flicker, Sprint, Flame Shot, or Purify. Those are the only spells I recommend, really, and they're pretty self-explanatory on Nana, to be honest. So moving on.
When you're falling down, 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 I will find the light in your soul, I'll be there. Leaving you alone is the hardest, even when you're out of focus.
Alright, so now onto the gameplay, and notice how I bought 2 mana necklaces right away. I usually always buy the 2 mana necklaces right away just because I always spam skills, which is what you want to do with Nana, right? That's what you want to be doing, just spamming skills, being annoying, and poking the enemy, right? Now, if my tank didn't buy a roam item here, I would have bought it just to be like the better person, right? And help out my team by, you know, sharing my XP and shit, and being a good boy, getting roam item, right? Here I kind of messed up. I guess I should have helped them fight Minnow, but it's not that worth it. And I mean, if we don't get the kill, I guess we gotta flicker out of it or something, right? But also notice how Yisun Shin died trying to take his buff because Fanny invaded. He should have just started with his buff. Against the Fanny, make sure you guys start your buff, because Fanny will almost always prioritize to invade, because early game is her domain. If she wins early game, usually she just dominates the flow of the whole match after that, and you don't want that. But anyways, look, I'm just laning here, just getting my XP, poking, trading with Kagura. Usually, I probably would have ganked already bottom lane or whichever lane my jungler would go to, right? But since he died and got invaded like twice, I think, it's not that worth it, right, to go around. And look at my Melina placement. I put Melina just in case Fanny wanted to dive on us like that. But my Melina was too slow, or I think I put it a little too late, but still. Make sure to be placing Melinas everywhere you think an enemy would pass through, or to give vision, or place it properly in a team fight. Throw it more towards the back of the enemy's position, where the enemies are positioning or something, you know? Or like right on top of your hyper carry. If your jungler is right next to you, throw Melina right on top of him if the enemy has a diving comp. If not, throw the Melina onto the enemy if they have range, you know? Be smart about your Melinas. Also, what I do with Nana is max out my second skill first. I max out my second skill first to reduce the cooldown just naturally, because maxing out the skill will reduce the cooldown. But also, like, I'll end up buying more cooldown items, so I'll just end up having a really low cooldown on Melina, and I'll be able to spam 2 at the same time, and I'll basically have Melina all the time. available to help my team or myself, right? And as you can see, it's a really tough early game here. We're just getting dominated basically, and all I can do is just farm at this point, right? Just lane, try to not feed. That's really all we can do as a team right now, just not feed, because they're pretty fed, especially the Fanny, right? But my team doesn't seem to understand that quite well. However, I don't give into it. I just chill, do my own thing, keep farming, you know, wait for that mid to late game to come through, because Fanny falls off mid to late game. As soon as people are able to start bursting her, that's when she starts being the most efficient she can, because she'll be killed more often, right? And yeah, you'll notice me just throwing Molinas here in the bushes, checking so that we don't get ganked, especially not me or my teammates. Like you see, it gives vision a little bit towards turtle, and in case they're invading and such. Again, always poking with Nana. For my build, I always get the book. I recommend always getting the book, especially, honestly, you should always get the book, honestly. Just get the book. On Nana, get the book first item. And the second item, anti-heal. What's my third item? My third item is usually always immortality, because once you die with immortality, guess what? They have to kill you again. And once they kill you again, they have to kill you a third time because of Nana's passive. So it's extra annoying for the enemy when you have immortality and Nana. Plus, it saves your life and sometimes your passive, which can be really helpful in fights, right? Because sometimes the enemy will think you don't have a passive anymore because they killed you already, or something like that, right? But then you surprise them with having a passive, so now they wasted time on you, or resources, spells, whatever it may be, and now you help your team a lot just by wasting people's spells and such. I don't know what's going on here, but anyways, as I was saying, it's really helpful for your team. As my fourth item, right after immortality, or is that fifth? I guess that would be fifth if we count all the 6 slots, including the boots. But anyways, after immortality, I would get fleeting time. Now that can vary, but I usually always opt to get fleeting time nowadays, because you're usually always fighting, and if you're fighting, you're gonna get an assist here and there with Nana, and that will reduce the cooldown of your ultimate, and that can be extremely helpful for your team and yourself, because people won't expect you to have your ultimate back right away afterwards, right? They'll think, oh, Nana used her ulti, free kills, or easier to engage, we're not gonna get stunned or bursted by anything else, right? But then you surprise them with the ultimate, and boom, you win the team fight or the trade or whatever, or you survive. But fleeting time turns out to be really useful with Nana. And for the final item, I usually just get another tank item or damage item depending on how the match is going, but I'll usually opt to go for a defense item anyways. Usually it's just a magic defense item like Athena's shield or Oracle, whichever you prefer, but I prefer Athena's shield because it gives more magic defense, and it's just the one I like better. Other than that, there's not much else to say about Nana, to be honest. Just make sure to keep poking, position well. Don't try to be the hero and like go and tank too much or something, you know? Try to always stay behind where your jungler is. Try to keep your jungler alive, throwing Molinas on, like right next to him or on the enemy team, depending on, as usual. And like every hero, you just will learn eventually the playstyle of Nana and how to play her, how to build in certain situations, because this build will not be the best every time, of course. But one of the most important things to know about Nana right now is that I think her damage got nerfed. So if you were to use Magic Worship, which is the Emblem talent for Magic Emblem that burns the enemy when you deal a certain amount of damage. That emblem actually isn't very useful anymore on Anna, because you will rarely be able to proc that burn on the enemy. Even if you're building full damage, it's pretty rare now when you actually proc it. For that, you will need to like land a full combo, pretty much exactly land the whole combo, and then flame shot them, and then it might proc the burn. But since everybody's so tanky nowadays, it's kind of useless, because the only person you would probably proc it on often enough would be the hyper carry, in which case, like, you probably can't even touch the hyper carry regardless, because he's being protected and such, right? So just opt to go for more cooldown, anti-heal, and useful items for the team. Like Fleeting Time gives you cooldown, resets the, well, not resets, but lowers the cooldown of your ultimate if you get assist. So overall, really useful item. And make sure to pick a good spell that will keep you alive, help you be annoying to the enemy team, and helpful to your team because you'll be alive, right? Like here, I have spell. What the heck is wrong with me? I have flicker. But anyways, if you like the video, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this whole video in itself, because I'm trying something new here, kind of editing a bit and such, and see if you guys like it. So thank you for watching, and until next time.
Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now.
weakness comes and goes, it goes, it goes. My weakness echoes in my soul. Oh, it echoes in my soul. My weakness comes and goes, it goes, it goes. your shoulder.